Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It is time for us to talk about what you're talking about. Ryan Kesler posed naked!
Yeah, you may not have heard yet. It is breaking news. Ryan Kesler planning on posing naked in ESPN the magazine. The first we heard about it was about 5 minutes ago. It's been released by ESPN the magazine. And I gotta say, as a dude, damn dog!
Respect. That's what I got.
The dude's ripped. He's the only hockey player in the magazine this year, and he puts...
Wait, you know what, Ryan?
He puts 90% of the other photos to shame.
Way to represent
man.
the home team.
Rock the Rock.
I heard the Rock.
Yeah, because he's holding onto a rock. Or
that's what she said.
Some sort of massive phallic symbol. I'm not sure which it is.
Anyway, I heard that he did skate a full practice today. He will not be playing tomorrow,
not
from what
Thursday,
they said this morning. But
and apparently the
Ryan,
two dots.
I really hope you feel better.
The two dots on his hip, they aren't moles. They are apparently scars left over from his hip operation that he had.
Michael Eckert, investigative journalist.
Thank you. I had a quick look. Ryan, just let me check. No, I didn't. Should never do that motion on TV, should I? Wow. I have all these motions I'm not allowed to do now. My hands from now on, right there. So Fiona and I play this little game. We started it years ago, and we call it How Much?
Yeah.
So we basically challenge each other to different things, different scenarios, how much. So we've done the how much to pose naked. What was your number?
Don't you remember that this went on for an hour and I hung my head out the window and I never answered?
You never answered?
I never answered that question.
People want to know how much for you to be naked.
See, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Don't do anything with my hands right now.
I'm sure that Ryan Kesler is at the peak of physical condition, right? Right. He's an athlete. If I felt like I were in the peak of physical condition, I would be naked all the time. Really.
That's true.
I would. Everybody, you know what? And every woman would say the same thing. If I were 100% happy with what I got, I'll just walk around naked.
So we threw it out there to everybody on Twitter and on Facebook. How much? How much would it take you to pose nude like Ryan Kesler did in ESPN the magazine? My Twitter, Patty Fatty, of course, our one and only Patrick Maliha, $11.83.
And that's
I'm
why
not sure
I
of the
love
math.
him.
Adrian Crook, a grande vanilla latte, which is one of my favorite answers. And then Brett Butt said he can't remember how much it was that he was offered to pose nude like Kesler.
I'd chip in a 5 spot
but he
for
would
that.
do it. For Brent?
Yeah.
I'd chip in more than that. I'd like to see Brent recreate that photo.
Me too.
What about you? What did you get?
Dan Payne, of course, you recognize him from Stargate Atlantis, says, do you have a Snickers bar? And that's what it would take for him to pose naked. I like
how cheap our followers are.
I know. A couple other people. I'm going to go to my Facebook because people are all riled up on Facebook about this one. And my favorite, and yes, she is one of our dear friends who also happens to be a comedian. Diana Francis said, I think I'd like to be trapped between that rock and his hard place. Diana, I will see you there. And our buddy Charles Zuckerman said he'd pretty much do it for a Slurpee, which I guess what the kids are calling it these days.
Very nice. We're going to show you a little bit of men's shoe and styling now today. Of course, men's shoes. This is becoming a very important part for...
I'd like to do it. And our good friend Diana Francis, who also happens to be a very funny comedian, says, I think I'd like to be trapped between that rock and his hard place. Diana, I will see you there. And our buddy Charles Zuckerman says he'd pretty much do it for a Slurpee, which I guess is what the kids are calling it these days.
Everyone's turned into a little pervert today. Welcome to Vancouver. We are going to show you...
What was your gesture?
Ryan, I can't tell what it is.
Anywho,